Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Red Paw Podcast. Good to have you today. We are here once again with Dr. Eric Bunge
Hello, everyone.
and our guest speaker today, Miss Abby Not Slayer Rhodes.
Yes. Hello. Welcome. Hi.
Welcome, please.
Welcome.
So today we're going to kind of get to the bottom. We're going to have a real conversation about why the body holds tension and why so many people feel sore, they feel tight, stressed, run down. And what recovery actually looks like for these people, both from a clinical aspect and then a hands-on aspect, both sides. So it should be a really fun time. We're looking forward to this. Abby, why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself? How long you been doing what you do, massage?
I've been doing massage now for 24 years. I do have a bachelor's in psychology, and my minor was in anatomy and physiology. And within this that 24-year span, I worked with multiple chiropractors, different PTs, and then at that time in Michigan, I was also a travel massage therapist and worked with quadriplegics, paraplegics. So along the way, you pick up the do's and don'ts and the traits
Right.
and just little nuggets of information from all those people that you've had the opportunity to work alongside.
All right, excellent. And so, with regards to stress, tension, posture, lifestyle patterns, I'm sure you have a lot of first-hand knowledge on how to handle all that stuff.
I would say yes and no because every person, it's definitely not cookie cutter and everybody, and it's not linear. What works for some does not work for others. And during a healing process or even a hands-on, you have a lot of people that are apprehensive. They don't, but they think it's a gimmick or, so there is a part of it where you really have to explain why they need it, what it's for, and the benefits. So it's also just kind of building that rapport with them, and then you can kind of get in there and do what's necessary to release the tension and the knots per se.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to see that you have the knowledge side of things where you can make people feel comfortable. That's always a good thing, feeling comfortable.
A lot of people just do not understand why am I sore, and
yeah, right, 100%. And then obviously we have Doc. His perspective is really good. We get that physiological side of recovery, inflammation, nervous system, that kind of stuff.
And to expand, as Abby was saying, not every therapy is right for every person. But I mean, massage is just, or manual therapy is what massage is, especially in someone that's skilled and gifted at it and has a lot of experience. There's a lot of benefits, whether it's just relaxing them or creating better recovery or better performance and fitness. But just like in my own business, as a chiropractor, let's be real. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't want anybody to touch my neck." I get it. And same thing with hands-on therapy, or even the bed or whatever, red light therapy or whatever it is. There's that learning curve for them or feeling comfortable, and then there's also, as you said, it's not linear. I'm very fortunate. I have a lot of folks that I can get in great shape pretty quick, but then you got that 1 in 10 that's just, hey, try to win their trust and make it worth their time, your effort, because it's certainly a lot of work. It's not easy doing these things. And I don't mean just helping people. I mean doing the work to help them.
Right.
There is toll on the body itself, right?
Right.
Yes. Oh, man. Well, I think it's going to be awesome having both of your perspectives today. Thank you once again for coming out. Let's start with Abby. I got a question for you. Why do people hold tension? What do you think on that?
Oh, goodness, I love this one. Multiple reasons, and sometimes this is a never-ending list. Let's just say I had 3 women today, and they all hold stress differently, and all 3 pretty much were in the same age range. And it can go back to one, I'm not sure when they started riding a bike. I'm not sure of childhood trauma. I'm not sure of their nutritional factor from being, a small child either, or if they were a D1 athlete. And I think it's just how they are, how they've interpreted life, and how much trauma they have, and where they hold their tension. So every person will hold it differently. And a lot of people are like, why? And I wish I could follow them around, kind of like with a little security camera, and from the day they were born until when I get a chance to meet them. But everybody holds it. The reasons are definitely different. I mean, divorce, death, trauma, car accidents, falling out of a tree, Just like the book says, the body definitely keeps score. Just because you don't remember a car accident when you were 9 doesn't mean your body doesn't remember your low back. So people carry tension because life is hard too. I mean, there's the day-to-day grind, there's the hustle, bill paying, responsibilities, all reasons and every reason under the sun, people carry tension.
What patterns through all this do you think you see the most?
Awareness and denial.
Oh, denial. I like that one. I think I
Denial.
didn't even think about that one.
Well, what do you mean I'm sore?
Okay.
You know?
I know it didn't hurt till you touched it.
Right. No, but it did. It did.
I had the pleasure of having a deep tissue from her a little bit back, and there was one spot where I thought exactly that. I was like, ooh, didn't know that was there.
Yeah, it did. You just chose not to hear it. It was there. It was there.
Yeah.
And I just bring that to light. And again, it's awareness and that mind-body connection. A lot of people just don't have it. They're going to get up, and it's a sensory adaptation, right? You can get used to pain.
I have a high threshold for pain. How often do we hear that? Don't worry about me. I have a high threshold for pain. I don't feel this. And, you see all the symptoms and the patterns and how it's affecting you and the compensations and things. And you're like, well, maybe, we should get you more sensitive to pain so you can work on not having it.
Right. But why does that serve you? Why do you have to have that pain? We're the only American culture. I carry pain. Oh. I'm like, but why do you have? Is that your armor? Is that your turtle shell? Why are you not feeling that pain? Because it's there, it's present, and that's the part as a therapist. I try to bring that to light and create that awareness. And the best way to describe it is I was a big time sprinter, runner, loved it. But you know what? Just because I run more doesn't mean I'm going to get better. It means my knees are getting older. I'm over 45, my neck, my back, and I'm going to get passed by an 8-year-old because he's got fresh knees and fresh spine. And it's not about experience to some point. It's about acknowledging and facing that as you age, your bones have miles, just like a car. And some of us got a lot of miles.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And you don't want to face that. Sorry, but you do. But you do.
You got to, right? Absolutely. Why do you think so many people are tight? Let's talk about that.
Once again, denial, and they don't want to come in and do the red light therapy. Nobody wants to do that until the pain is over, is all consuming.
You know what's sad about that? How much harder is it to overcome once they're to that point, right? Mm-hmm. Versus just doing it to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about stress. What's your thought on stress in the field?
Oh, I mean, my doctor told me it's the 21st century. Who is not stressed? Stressed in my field, everybody's stressed. There isn't a single person that's not stressed, even a lady. I mean, I was telling her she was stressed. She says, what do you mean? I'm like, how did you get here in your car in Bluffton at 5 p.m.? It's stress. The traffic, driving, and, driving is stressful. Inflation's stressful. Life is stressful. I mean, unless, you're on constant vacation, but then, again,
even vacation is,
Yeah. Right. You ever came back from a vacation and say, man, I need a vacation?
Right. You're like, it's stress. Everybody has stress. And it goes back to denial. We love to deny, pretend. It doesn't exist. Or you just want to go through Target and get your Tylenol and your Motrin because it's easy. Yeah. People want easy.
Yeah. No, understood. That's
and it's frustrating, and they want easy.
Yeah. I think Doc sees that as well. On what he deals with just as much. So
how do you that's why my motto is protect it and respect it and prevent it. PRP.
I love that.
And luckily I'm been through all these cycles of life at this point, except for being really over 65, but I'm getting close, and I know not to run anymore. I want to see if I can make it to my funeral with these original knees.
Right.
Right. I want to share my knowledge with folks. Protect and respect the children and the ladies, and with good advice. And it's a very busy world. All you have to do is drive during rush hour in the morning, get down 170, and just see the cars 2 feet behind you at 65 miles an hour. No mercy at all. Or of course, how much I can't even imagine feeding a family of 4 right now. I can't even imagine, but and then just everything else, just caring about people, all the
Right.
people you care about. You have to give them space. You have to let people go through what they're doing. Everybody's choosing their own path. You help them, those who come to you, as best to your full capacity, and enjoy the end of the day when you say, I did pretty good today. Look for the positives, and that's an important thing too. Even with yourself, if you're feeling stress or tension or whatever, holding it, look for the positives you have. That's the first thing I do with clients and patients, or even my family. Hey, you know what? You got this. Look what you're doing. This is really good. How can we use that to help the rest of what we're seeing? Whether it's a trigger point or degeneration of a joint and things. Yeah.
How do we think between the both of you? How do we think that this stress we're facing? How do you think it affects the nervous system?
It's called rest and digest versus fight or flight. So you got the sympathetic. That's one of the things I really, really love about posture exercises and red light therapy. You can actually create a parasympathetic tone.
I like that.
And how do you do that? By breathing out, not breathing in. Breathing in, that's fight or flight. But PRI, that's why I'm a PRI doc. Getting that air out, telling your brain so it can actually. I was just training a guy here on, I call it long seated, and he's all shaking, and I say, once your nervous system, you're training it, you're making a new normal for yourself. You're going to see the massage therapist once a month. You're going to come see the chiropractor once a month or something, or you're going to get your red light therapy once a week or whatever. You're giving that nervous system a new normal, because everything, that's one of the things about being a chiropractor is different than being a physician, a medical physician. For a chiropractor, it's about tone. It's about, is there something interfering and creating a hypersensitive tone? Or is that body, when it goes to sleep at night, able to get into that parasympathetic and regenerate and create repair or strength or happiness? And so chiropractic is all about the original Palmer school of thought is it's about tone. And they call it the safety pin, what goes up. And if it's something's coming up and it's got interference, it's corrupted thoughts. And so manual therapy, I really love it. The red light, the photobiomodulation, the red light, I really love it. Chiropractic, I'm a very, very gentle chiropractor. I have a lot of ladies in the family, and I do car accidents every day. It's not the, you don't hear a lot of that stuff that you might be concerned about. That is how I believe I benefit the nervous system of who's in front of me. And same thing, who doesn't like having their hair rubbed or, a little bit? I mean, that's creating a very wonderful, positive stimulation of the nervous system, allowing it to create a better normal deal with. We're never going to get rid of stress.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
It's actually normal.
Right.
We're built to deal with it. We're built to deal with a kid crying. We're built to deal with, getting burned or falling down a set of stairs. We're built to deal with these things. And how do we do it the best we can?
So with all that being said, and I'll take this one back to Abby. We have that stress we're dealing with. The nervous system's trying to figure out how in the world to deal with all that stress. Let's talk posture. People come in, they probably have some issue with posture. Okay, what are we talking there?
Well, I also teach mat Pilates and reformer, so I'm very big on posture. Posturing, well, one is something too that we learn very early on, and that can be trauma, abuse, physical, emotional. You draw in, you know what I mean? You're not exposed, your heart's protected. So posture can begin very early on as a behavioral cognitive, where your brain learns to protect itself, and so your body responds to the brain and protection. But what I do with posture, a lot of my people, is one, we got to talk through why they're tight. Are they overdriving? Are they sitting, standing too much? Trying to assess what they're doing throughout the day, and then work on eliminating the knots within the surrounding muscle, the surrounding muscles around the skeletal system, and creating space for that the alignment of the skeletal system once I remove all the tension and the knots and then help the lactic acid. Again, it's all about creating that space and allowing them to breathe. And like he said, I try to put some breath work into the active release therapy, try to release the knots. And once you have this release, then people again can breathe. And then when you can breathe, then you can kind of focus on the posture. So I would think posture for me is like a staging event. It's just like, because a lot of people don't even know that they're here, or it's mind body connective. So I just begin on the table with the hands on, removing the knots, talking to them about the tension. Maybe they're talking, asking questions. And then after that, we get the new oxygenated blood flow. And then after they're off the table, and I'm like, all right, now put your shoulders back. Be mindful of that. Then when you're driving or using your grocery cart, it's okay to make adjustments in public. Some people are still worried about people pleasing, or they go back to that old trait, their old habits. And posture is a habit. Like when you see a beautiful woman and her shoulders up and shoulders are back, she's postured, she's engaged like a ballerina dancer. She's just mind body aware. And that's why when people are fascinated, they're drawn in, because you're like, wow, that's pretty magical. But nothing's really magical about it. She's doing everything that the body should naturally be doing. It's just, so that's the way I approach posture with them. It's kind of after the table and after the blood flow, and then after they can feel and then connect and associate with that.
Okay.
Because at first they're like, what?
Yeah, posture, what?
Yes, I am standing up. I got in here.
Yeah, I think Doc aligns with you 100% with regards to how important posture is. That PRI training and background, that's pretty big stuff. And the core of that, posture,
head, shoulders,
and
knees, and toes.
Yeah.
I will say this though. I taught two great Pilates classes in the reformer yesterday. I was talking to the women. We all get older, right? And that's such a blessing. But becoming elderly is a choice. Mm-hmm. And posture is one of those things where you can tell somebody has kind of really given up and they're elderly and they're hunched over. Like there is a point of no return with posture. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, you can prevent it from getting worse, but I mean, if you're here and you're 80, I don't.
Yeah, once you get to kyphosis, it's pretty. But I mean, Sarah Meeks has her posture restored position, and she's in her 80s, and it seems so. But you got to practice that, and again, it's not like Stuart McGill. He's like, hey, the big three, that's not for everybody. You have to take into account their situation. A lot of degeneration. Maybe they've overstretched themselves, and now they don't have joint stability anymore. And we all lose muscle. After 45, you're going to lose muscle, whatever rate you do. But I'm not really. I don't hate arthritis. Everybody thinks arthritis is like this terrible. Yeah, no one wants it. Okay, but it's the body's ability to stabilize a hypermobile segment. So when you want your spine to be stiffer after 70. Why? Because you'll fall over. If you lose all that muscle, which you're going to lose it, and you're hypermobile already or something like that, your body has that's why you get shorter. Why do we get shorter? Is that a bad thing? No, it's a great thing. It's the body's, what it's doing is it's taking those discs in between the spinal segments, and it's condensing them, making them solid, making them tough, so that you're more durable. It's just a body's way of helping it stay upright. That's why I kind of like a military spine. For myself, at least you're standing upright, and you're not gonna, I mean, I can turn my head and I can do whatever I got to do, but I'm not sitting there trying to make it more. That's another thing about stretching with me. Is I say, hey, go to where your body feels comfortable, and enjoy it, and then bring it back. Don't sit there and try to keep going, because there's a reason it has a restriction. Some of it can be helped, of course. Yep. And certainly in chiropractic, we put a lot of people have they fell out of a tree, right? Or in a car wreck, and they just don't have stability of the ligamentous structure in their neck. And, you see people, doing this and things like that. And I can just do it with traction and just have them do some functional ranges. And next thing you know, just it goes right back into place. I don't have to necessarily be too aggressive. But I think all posture is controlled by your next breath.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a good point.
Okay.
It's,
All coming
So-
back to that breathing thing.
it's
right?
that breathing thing.
And
That's where we seem to all agree there, 100%.
And I am a big fan of Pilates, especially if you
Right.
have a reformer. Especially if you have a reformer, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, because it creates core, it creates a neutral position with
Mhm.
hip mobility and shoulder mobility and good functional patterns. And it's challenging, it's monitored. You're not making these little mistakes that are creating these little problems later on
Mhm.
that become habits
Yep.
and permanent. But we breathe 20,000 times a day, right? So, and you're not going to stop breathing no matter what you try. And that, your brain, back to your nervous system and stress, wants to have efficient breath. It wants to be able to do it as easily as possible, and it wants to be able to give your body as much oxygen as needed while also expelling the carbon dioxide. So your body subconsciously, through PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, creates a posture, a structural position, a tone to make that breathing as easy as possible. Probably, yeah, you do all Pilates, all the reformer work. I've never really, I've seen it. It was years ago, but you're actually monitoring the breath while they do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. You got to correlate the breath with the movement and really make sure they're connected. That way, you're elongating, engaging, and really focused again. Because a lot of people, once movement continues, they want to hold their breath and force it.
Yeah.
So it's always like, breathe, just breathe. Yes, I always have to bring them back to their breath, probably every minute and a half.
Yeah,
At least
just
you do that though. That's healthy.
Yeah, that's healthy.
good.
Yep, we're always
You gotta
coming back to
breathe.
the
You
breath.
gotta
We're breathing, right?
that's how I started off when I started the postural work. I say, now first thing I say, now don't worry about breathing in. I need you to learn to breathe out, and then because you'll always breathe in, because that's what they, as soon as they start doing something, they want to take that breath. And I said, now, and when I get in a position, I'm like, now breathe, because they're all shaking. I'm like, now
Right.
take a breath, and then you see the nervous system creating tone. You see the nervous
Mhm.
system all of a sudden saying, it's okay. And another really important thing about that, where the functional range of your diaphragm, where you're at in your breathing pattern,
Mm.
versus when I left Penn State, a big thing of fitness was what they called a state of chronic inhalation. Everybody's walking around like this all the time, right? And that actually creates instability. But at the same time, if that's how you're strongest, when you go to take a step with your feet, you're going to get into that. Whereas what I teach is the exhale patterns. Now you're strongest walking with this nice, gentle exhale posture. If you're running and doing cardio, yeah, you're going to take a bigger breath and breathe. But otherwise, you want to breathe through your nose with your lips closed and your tongue appropriate and chin level and head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And you want that diaphragm. What is the core? Is it the front? Does it not have a top, two sides, a bottom and a back? It's a six-sided cube. And the top is the diaphragm. And all you do, just Google X-ray of the chest and notice how the left diaphragm is perfectly straight and the right is curved. So we are all built. I have a few that I have double curves. Very hard to find them, by the way. Very hard to find.
Interesting.
Those. Yeah. Well, I got a lot of years of research.
I will say though, back to the breath. I have
Please.
noticed sometimes to get the back to, and tell me, I would love to hear your take on this. I've noticed probably in the past 5 years, just doing this as long as I have, sometimes I cannot get people's backs to respond. Just like, and I mean, when I say respond, it's still holding on to tension, soreness, tightness. Like you can feel it, and and you can also see it. But I have noticed when I massage their stomach and I have them breathe and then massage the stomach and we breathe, it really lowers the tension and the stress and you have more of a muscular response to the spine and the muscles in the back.
Because you're focusing on belly breathing or diaphragm breathing, which is automatically going to start undoing what we call bridging. When you see that those paraspinals just that's bridging, right? And so they're in that state of chronic inhalation is when you can get that down.
Right.
And so like when I'm doing a car accident case and I have them laying supine and I'm just gently tractioning their neck, I get those ribs down and I teach them because they can feel the ceramics posture position, one leg up, one leg down, hands down like this. And as they get that rib down, they can feel their neck relaxing. And I say, now see the benefit of exhaling and pausing? 5 seconds, 5 times, exhale. And you can feel it. And then when they bring their other knee up, by the way, you always bring both knees up and then let the one down. Okay, you don't drop and then bring one up. They can feel, oh my God, I can feel, oh my gosh, excuse me, how that right side is, very tense, or it's usually the left, okay? But so that what you're seeing there, what you're experiencing is this use of the diaphragmatic movement and the rib cage movement. The rib cage is they're now going in and out as best they can. And that's another important thing, though. Older people, their ribs get very stiff.
And you can't even feel underneath. And I've always, when I massage that area and focus on it, they kind of, for lack of a better word, they just kind of melt like butter. And you're just like, you can almost just see the release. And even in their face. I mean, pain, going back to posturing, pain in the face even
and more oxygen. They're going to be, the color's going to come back.
You're no longer blue. Yay, score.
Oh, man. Well, that's, I'm glad to see we got that breathing part down. That's good. Let me ask you this. What about, with all that being said, we've talked about stress, nervous system, posture. What about overtraining? Do you think that causes more stress?
I just read, and this wasn't my generation by say, because we're no pain, no gain. I'm 49 now, but I just recently, 4 years ago, learned that it's better to be 1% undertrained than 5% overtrained.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, and it's spot on. I mean, it's spot on.
I changed my routine this last year a little bit. I used to be pretty hardcore, and I kind of went more with that mentality. And my body is thanking me like crazy. I love how I feel much more than I did before. Yeah.
Because we're all going to the gym not for the right reasons. Let me just say that if you are working out more than four times a week, there's something else going on. I mean, you go back to old school training, or even moving forward. Like, there is a generation, my grandma's generation, she's 98. They have that is the last standing generation that has their real knees and their real hips.
And shoulders.
And why is that? They were not in the gym 2 hours a day, cardio for here, lifting for here, 7 days a week, 6. You have a finite amount of cartilage.
And keep in mind, they worked their whole life.
Yeah, and they worked
their whole actually worked. And they came home and made dinner, and they cleaned the house, and they mowed the lawn.
Right. And she planted, and she had a rose garden, and she was a farmer. And no, she really did. But that was because your body was designed to do that. It is not designed for me to go in there. And I was in the military. I get it. I had to carry a ruck for a reason. I was going to throw hand grenades and eat my MREs and carry that has an ending. But when you, again, going back, why do these women nowadays have these weighted vests on their skeletal system? And they're already, what are you training for? You're not training for life. Are you training for so yes, I think overtraining, it's ineffective. It's like overworking over anything. The only over you can do in life is overlove. Everything else is just overrated. Just it drives me crazy. There's something in here. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's another battle.
Maybe you're trying to escape something. Who knows what? But at the same time,
it's always been there. I bought my first Joe Weider bench set from Sears in 1978 or something. I was just really lucky. I kind of didn't need to. I had kids right away, so that's just carrying kids around and bicycling and work and and I was a funeral director, lifting bodies and putting them into caskets and things, and that's enough. And today, at my age, right now, it's Gray Cook taught me. It's called self-limiting body weight exercises. Can you do something with your body? So a big part of my workout is my chiropractic work. But when people are really, really injured and sore, it's very hard for them to get up the table. So I offer them an arm. I get that arm and say, "Now, okay, grab my arm." And so, how many times a day I get this submaximal load on my entire system that I'm currently keeping 167. I got like 8% body fat. And I'm not going to do a lot of push-ups anymore, but I can do pull-ups and I can
Right.
do whatever I want. I want to protect my elbows too. That's too many push-ups. I'm just
Right, and the planks. And I think with the overtraining, a good question is
Yeah.
well, my first question I asked sustainability.
Yeah. How long can you do it, right?
How long can you
Till
do
fall
it?
apart?
And then in each decade it looks different. I mean,
Yeah.
I did overtrain. That's why at 42 I had my first hip replacement. At 48, I mean, you can be addicted to exercise and you think, oh, I'm not going to the bar, I'm not doing 4 shots. Well, I don't think doing Zumba, Pilates, running marathons, being in the Army, having 2 natural childbirths, it all adds up. Just like Carfax, the body has a fax, and again, gymnastics, like all the things add up. And now here I am with limitations, only at 49, and that's still like, but now I have to view everything differently because overtraining, you get inflammation. Chronic inflammation has
joint degeneration.
Mm.
Irreplaceable joint
Yeah.
Oh,
degeneration.
that's it. Mhm.
That's
So-
the real
so
ticket right there.
That's
Wouldn't we
the
say
real- yep.
we probably
Yes,
have 2
that's it.
options: overtrain or protect, right?
Overtrain, you got 2 choices,
Overtrain or protect,
right? Overspend or save.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly.
There you go. That's a good way to. That's a good. The old one is burning the candle at both ends.
Right.
Makes for a
Yes.
very quick burning candle.
Right. Yes. That's
Yeah. So with all that being said, you think a lot of folks are dealing with poor recovery?
everybody.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's a given.
Yeah. So
Yes.
anything we can do to help with
Look at
recovery is a plus in our books, right?
Yes.
Just look at the trends. What
Yeah.
right now, IV
Mhm.
drips.
Oh.
First of all, no, I don't want anything sticking in any of my arteries. Okay, I'm good. Okay, or veins. Excuse me. I did if chiropractic school, believe it or not, you had to pass a test to do phlebotomy or whatever, draw blood, and I was just not into it. I just take my vitamins. Okay, but just look at the trends around you. Some of these are beneficial trends. The stretch zone. It really does help people try to gain proprioceptive
Right.
facilitation, things like that. Perhaps the IV drips are really beneficial for certain people, especially someone overtraining. But there is right now, there is a phenomenon, and I'm pretty astute to watch certain programs. I'm a big YouTube watcher, but it's been the last. I don't know if it's been the last. It's been more recent though. It's not been 5 years. But there's been a real thing going on right now with, I guess, ladies too, but certainly men. Just you see the before and after pictures. They're taking bioidentical growth hormones for if they're over 60, probably.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Or whatever they're doing. But there is something going on right now. I think I was talking to Nate about this, as people have more free time than they maybe, people used to work a lot more. People work a lot, don't get me wrong, but people have free time. They have a little bit more disposal, but they're also very aware through all, looking at these phones of look what you can be.
Oh, right. Exactly.
And there is a trend, manscaping, or I just heard the term a couple days ago where they're usually younger guys, just really trying to create that set of abs, that incredible. Oh, I remember that. I actually just found a picture of me from 1994, and I didn't work out, guys. That was all life. But those legs are giant.
You've also had a really good diet your whole life too, which plays a big role.
That's pretty. Yes. But it's not. I'm not looking at that picture and going, boy, maybe I should go for it again. No, I want to be able to work till I'm 80,
right,
and not have joint pain, not taking the last time I've never used a bottle of ibuprofen or Tylenol up. I've had to buy them on occasion for certain things that have happened, right? They always expire.
That's good.
That's where we want to be.
Well, next year you're talking about recovery was leading up to the hip replacement. That's excruciatingly painful. Ooh. Considering my standing and how many ibuprofen, Tylenols, prednisone. So this year was all about detoxing because that too, I mean, you are eliminating pain, but at a price. There's always, anytime you put something in your body, there's a cause and effect. There is a side effect. And so this year was just naturally detoxing. I've done, staying up on my massages, not being a hypocrite, practicing what I preach. I'm not overtraining, just walking, just really, really all about recovery.
Yeah.
And doing it the right way. And that's slowly.
Yeah.
And it looks different on a daily basis too.
What are your thoughts on what she just said, Doc? How important? I mean, with regards to that recovery, why does it matter more than people might realize?
How long do you want to live?
Yeah.
But more importantly, that's called the lifespan, right? But I was up at the Amen Clinic. I had my brain. We decided I was really fortunate. Someone in my family wanted me to do it, see if I could be helped. But one of the terms I got up there was, he said, it's about the health span. It's about the health span of the brain, the nervous system, your elbow, your knee, your tummy, your hair, your teeth, your feet, so it's about the health span. And we are very fortunate today. I mean, when I was young, there was no red light therapy. And the vitamins are nothing compared to what we have. I mean, we didn't even know about vitamin D. And now, if you don't take every colleague I know that's a chiropractic neurologist, some of the smartest people I've ever, they all recommend vitamin D3 sometimes with K2 or whatever. And your omega fats and digestive enzymes. There's one that is so missed, but every meal a digestive enzyme, not a probiotic, a digestive enzyme. So therefore, why? Because then you don't have to eat the protein that you have in your food gets digested quicker, better, doesn't degrade, and gets assimilated. And then you don't have all those wastes in your body, which ages your kidneys, which one of the fastest growing parts of medical is kidney dialysis. Because people, it's not the alcohol and cigarettes, it's the high animal protein diets, and combined with the medications needed to deal with that, the statins and the whatever, the ibuprofens or whatever. So yes, recovery. Yeah. We got tools today that make it very easy. It's just hard to. There was a famous fellow. He just passed away. He was one of Loma Linda, California, longest living people in America. He was one of their doctors, and he said everybody wants the diet of kings and queens. And Dr. John, but if you try to do something simpler, first of all, you have less stress. You'll spend less money, which means you'll have money when you want to do a vacation. You'll perhaps you'll find Pilates. A lot of people I know, Pilates is a wonderful, enjoyable experience. And, but, just try to keep it a little bit more subtle, slow down. And then, once in a while, enjoy going out and having a couple of drinks and dance a little bit,
Balance, right? Life's all about balance.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. You don't have to drink. A lot of people, no one drinks anymore.
I don't drink.
What do I?
Yeah, you look at all the Hollywood stars. It's the latest fad, and that's recovery.
Yeah.
There's no ROI, and it made me look bad, and it created inflammation, and it's costly, and then you eat bad. It's just I'm just not. There's no purpose in my life.
Yeah,
that's why.
I tell you, there's a lot of different ways to recover. Today we've talked about some of those. You got the massage, which helps tremendously. Mobility, I think both of your professions definitely help with that mobility. You got to have the spinal alignment and all that structure working. You got to have those muscles playing with it. All that goes hand in hand. Something we didn't talk too much about, hydration. What are our thoughts on that with regards to recovery?
I don't drink enough, but please, I have a feeling you have something that you can share with us.
Well, my non-negotiable for years was to drink a gallon of water a day, and I looked better, slept better, circulation was better, and lack of a better, going to the bathroom was better.
Gotta keep it moving.
Got to keep it moving. I don't. The in and out process. It's just, and that all function, all systems. The endocrine system, the nervous system, the lymphatic system, the skeletal system, muscular system, they all work independently, dependent on each other. But when they are working well, it's when hydration is a key part. It's like oil in a vehicle. Right. And you got that BMW or Porsche, whatever, and it's premium, baby. It's got to keep it premium. Water is the premium.
There you go. How does sleep play into all this? And I'm going to say I'm a first offender. There are nights where I don't get a lot of sleep because I'm extremely busy. However, I'm working on it. How does sleep play into this?
The best advice seems to be right now, eat dinner early. Dinner is the evening meal, okay? Try to get your dinner, which unfortunately we work till 5, try to get your dinner into you by 6:30, whatever. So because especially if it's a high protein meal, it's going to take 3 hours to digest. And then if you can go to sleep at 10 and then get up early. I just watched a really cool YouTube video on a bunch of ways in Japan, because they work a lot. And my son lives in Taiwan, and trust me, he's like, they work all the time, okay? They have habits that they use at night. No more, white light, certainly no phone, okay? They'll read. They'll have a gentle incandescent light bulb, and then they'll read to each other or themselves. But again, having dinner early on, and then that way your stomach doesn't have food. It makes a lot of sense. It makes common sense. In bed by 10, up, And here's something I also want to say. I worked down in the villages for 27 months and saw a lot of people that were retirees every day. And after a while, you got the routine you're doing, but you kind of think of questions to ask. And I started asking people about sleep patterns. No. Separate bedrooms, separate beds, more common than you think. And certainly I wake up at 4 o'clock. Okay. Maybe some of them go to bed at 6. There are some people that are like that, right?
6 p.m.?
Yes, there are a lot of that do.
I was like, wait, what?
He was down at the village. I went to bed early.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's work till 8.
Certainly, but why is it at 8 o'clock? By 9 o'clock, they're all gone. Okay. But that's one of the beauties of the CPAP machine. Because once you're on that machine, those folks sleep, 6-8 hours, whatever it is they're trying to sleep. But I was just talking to a Medicare broker about the medications that people are on. A significant number of people on Medicare are taking sleep aids. I mean prescription sleep aids, okay? Not melatonin. So it's if you're dealing with this life stress, you got a lot going on or whatever it is, and you're not alone. You're not. And it's not just because it's a bad mattress, although I like a pillow top. Do you know what the pillow top was designed for? You remember mattresses used to have pillow tops and now like they're foam or whatever? The design of the pillow top, this is ergonomics. So when you breathe, your ribs, right? The pillow top is designed so that when you breathe, your ribs had some place to go and then come back without resistance. Yeah, and we don't have pillow tops anymore. No, you go look for a pillow top.
It's all foam. Yeah. I will say though too, drinking. Don't drink. You'll sleep better. That's another one. It's just very disruptive, especially women in middle age. That is not your friend in any way, shape, or form. You may fall asleep fast, but you're gonna have turbulence in the middle of the night. You just are. Wow. Just don't. I mean, and sleep is where you regulate the hormones. I mean, sleep is where regeneration cells regenerate, everything repairs and recovers. The most important thing you can do is sleep. And going back on what he was advocating is you got to find a nightly routine and whatever works for you. Like I take a hot bath, talk with my husband.
Oh, that was another thing. Yeah, baths are real big.
I take a bath every night, and so my body just needs. And that's every night. So you find how.
When was the last time you took a bath?
Yeah, you need to do it.
I remember. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I take a bath every night. I'm like,
but that's one of the things that's nice about the light bed. Yeah, fall asleep. It is 15 minutes.
We do need that.
And naps are a good thing too. Your lights are still on. Naps are a good thing. The whole. It's not just the heat of the day; it's a siesta.
Yeah.
I do those from time to time.
Well, people in Europe do that too. Yeah, that's like it's a
little 15-minute just to get those eyes refreshed and back at it.
It's good for mental clarity too. Refocus again. We just the power of go.
Well, it'd be neat if like offices had like little reposing rooms, that
And go in there for 5-10 minutes and just
Speaking of, in Japan, they do. I've seen some of those. We love I'm hooked on the YouTube too. When you go to see all these
movement going here in the U.S. with those.
Yeah, well, good luck. No, they're just gonna sell you. They're gonna sell you something. You're just gonna buy another sleep medication.
But we should. And those who are working at home, let's be honest, I bet a lot of people do. I bet they do.
Well, I think
But they,
if I have a cancellation,
snuggle up with the cat.
I'm rejuvenating, and I'll say some prayers and meditate and just get my breath back. And I'm like, I'm meant to rest.
Yeah.
And just
get back to yourself, right?
Yeah, I can't heal if I'm not healed. You know?
I'm just thinking about it now, and look, I'm smiling.
yeah. He's like, just thinking about the sleep. I'm good. All right. Well, hey, here's a question. We hadn't really talked too much about Red Paw. Here's the mobile device. We talked a little bit about it. I think, was it last week or the week before we pulled it out? I don't know. But you just turn it on, press the button, and it comes on. Mobile, easy to use. Why would it be good to keep something like this with you for normal use in the regular world?
I think that's my field here. Well, what if you had the flu or trouble breathing? Leave it on your chest. What if you're doing, like my wrist has worked since I was a kid, right? Worked almost every day. It gets sore. You're just sitting there, just leave it on your wrist or your elbow, or your shoulder starts, or you got a trigger point. You want to hit subscapularis. Okay. But tummy time. Oh, I'm feeling really yucky, right now. Something's going on. Just leave it on there. Knees, of course. Yeah. Knees.
No, now you got me going out. Yep.
You need this.
I know.
And if you're working on knee, it's right here too. The adductors, okay? They're the ones that are going to stress the knee the most, okay? Even though you feel the pain here, or it could be swollen, but then there's the neurovascular bundle. Yeah, especially a nice battery-powered one like that charges automatically, and you can feel it. You can feel the warmth, and somewhere 3 to 5 minutes on a spot treater should do it. Yeah. And then my advice is when you've done an area, rotate it or go up or down. So I love tummy time and on the chest, and then the thighs, and then the calves. A wonderful spot treater, especially a quality one that's going to hold its charge for a long time. Hey, I do it every day. So what do you want me to say?
And I think the beautiful thing, and obviously Doc has a beautiful situation here. He has a red light clinic where he's able to have it right at his disposal in his clinic, the highest powered you can get. You're looking at it right behind us, and then he has his class 4 right in the other office. The guy's got it going on. But, with regards to, somebody like Abby that's, maybe whether it's a mobile massage or at her office, integrating something small and simple right into that massage to help even bring that massage to a higher level.
When you have them face down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just right here.
Yeah.
Just right here. Because the cerebral spinal fluid that is inside the spine comes from inside the middle of the brain, right? And it has to get down there where that low back bridging and spasms are happening.
We're going to get down there.
So you start.
You're all going down.
Yeah.
So just taking some time and leaving it right here for a couple, or over the lung spaces, or the high lung spaces. I'm not gonna. There's lots of structures that you can just, while you're doing here, that you can leave it up there and move it around.
Right.
Sure.
I think today we've.
But I like that. I like the nervous one though.
I do too. Yeah. Now you said
that was every time I laser someone with the Aspen laser.
It's like that's a great idea.
I always start here, and I explain it. I have a picture on the wall. I always start here, and I show. I always start here, and then I work down through the respiration, and then down to lumbar, and then down to the hip bursa, and then back to the shoulders. So I always start at the top and go down. For the main reason of, as a chiropractor, I want the inside of the spine as healthy as possible. Yeah.
They're gonna keep coming back because feeling good feels good. They're gonna
feels good.
Next time we're gonna put you in the bed, give you a full dose. I'm gonna laser you.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna let you talk. Or then we're gonna ask you to share with us some more of your valuable information, because I have to say I'm very thankful.
Yeah, me too.
This was not. We hadn't met.
No.
I didn't have her resume or CV or anything.
No.
And I have to be quite honest. I got a lot out of this.
Yeah. No, me too. I've enjoyed this conversation. It's been good. It's funny. I think sometimes people think recovery and they think laziness.
But yes.
But I think we got to retrain that process, man. We gotta let people realize that recovery is not laziness; it is imperative to the soul.
Yes, it's imperative.
So,
and longevity, sustainability, and the health span.
Health span.
Health span.
Good one.
yeah.
Health span.
But what you just said, it's wait. You just said it. You just
recovery isn't laziness.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really that's.
Or
Yeah.
I think too, they're admitting something is weak about them, like you said. I think it's just a negative what's that word? Connotation or a negativity attached to that word, like you said, and it's no.
But unfortunately, that's something that shouldn't be there. We need to retrain that.
If they could think more like the athletes, because they got it. That's how they make their money.
Yeah, no professional athlete. I mean, they spend.
Because they understand.
They're all doing the recovery. They realize that without it, they couldn't do what they do.
That's their money maker. Yeah, you got to like 100%. A sustainability, and like if you're not working, you're not making money. So.
Yeah. So I think at the end of the thought process on this conversation, like people have to realize their body's trying to communicate to them. The question is, are they listening?
No.
That's a good one.
Are they listening?
Yeah. Are you listening?
But we have wonderful people like both of you that we're blessed to have. People with good energy that can convey that to others and get them realizing that their body needs this recovery and then doing something about it. That's the biggest thing. And then reaping the benefits of it and finally living a life that the recovery allows them to live. So thank you both for what you do. I'm appreciative. And today's talk, I've loved it, and we'll definitely have to do it again.
Yes, we will do it again.
But thank you once again. And once again, everybody, thank you for tuning into the Red Paw Podcast. We'll see you next week.
See you soon.
Bye.